Good evening. My name is Mr. Rubnich, and welcome to Cliffside Park High School's first virtual Parents' Night. I am your child's Algebra 2 teacher. I have been teaching at Cliffside Park High School for 19 years, since September of 2002. Over the years, I have faced a lot of challenges and a lot of difficult times, but to put it mildly, this year has been the most unique. This year has provided me with the most difficult challenges of my career, trying to combine both in-person and remote teaching and learning, and trying to make sure that students are learning the same, whether they are with me in person in the classroom or at home remotely on the computer. My strategy so far is, as much as possible, to make the classes as normal as possible. In other words, to make the classes appear kind of as they would if everyone was sitting in front of me. That means using the whiteboard, assigning problems, having students explain the problems, me going over the problems, me calling on students, students answering. And yeah, it's a little bit of trial and error, but as the year has gone on, I think me and all the other teachers are starting to get the hang of it. As far as the grading procedure this year, everyone in the math department must use the same rules. Homework is 15% of the grade. I do not check that the homework is correct. All I check is that the homework is done on time and that the student put a legitimate effort into the homework. As long as the homework is done on time and with effort, the student will receive 100 for this grade, and it counts as 15% of the total. Next, there is the classroom participation grade, and that is 20% of the grade. This basically requires that you are in class on time, and that's whether you are going to be in person or remotely. You do not leave early, and if you are participating remotely, stay in class for the entire period. Also, I will be asking a lot of questions and I will be assigning problems. You are expected to do the problems. You are expected to answer questions if called on. You are expected to ask me questions if you can't understand the work, just as if you were in person. Essentially, if you follow those rules, this is also a grade of 100. So this part of the grade, the student controls 100%. The remaining part of the grade are tests and quizzes, and they represent the majority, 65% of the grade. Again, I admit this is somewhat challenging, especially with remote students, but starting to get the hang of it. I want students to learn the material. My tests are not just memory, because Algebra 2 is very important for the future, whether your student is going to be going in the workforce or to college next year. While my tests might be a little harder than the average teachers, I do a lot to make sure the student succeeds. For example, I always prepare a practice test that I put on the classroom. I have an example right here. As you can see, I not only have potential test questions there, but I also have it worked out. And I have it worked out in detail, step by step. And yes, different colors. Again, I do all that so to make it easier for your child, the student, to follow along. This way, if they forget how to do a particular problem when they're studying at night, they can look and say, oh yeah, I remember that. Again, any student who studies this is guaranteed to do well on the exam. Again, they have to look this over, and it is on the classroom site. Extra help for your student, for your child, is available every single day between the hours of 2 and 3 o'clock. There is no appointment necessary. I have set up a special classroom known as the Extra Help Classroom, and every student has been given access to it. All they have to do is show up to it. I will be there, and I can answer all their questions and give them all the extra help they need. So again, I'm there every single day. And if that's a bad time, because I do know some students work, well then I will be happy to set up a Google Meet time that is more appropriate for the student so that, if it's later at night, that will be perfectly okay. So just to summarize, there you see my name, Mr. Rubnich. There is my email address. Feel free to email me at any time. I always answer within 24 hours. I've also included there the general school phone number, and you may call it at any time if you want me to get back to you. Again, email is probably a little quicker. So once again, I thank you for listening to this presentation. And again, if you have any questions about your child, please feel free to call or email me at any time. Good night.